can join in progress. So Angela, can you just let us know once we're live, and then I will start this meeting.
We are live.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first Police Services Board meeting of 2022. We will begin today's meeting with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the lands which constitute the present-day region of Peel as being part of the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the Haudenosaunee, Confederacy of the Huron-Wendat, and Wyandot nations. We recognize these peoples and their ancestors as peoples who inhabited these lands since time immemorial. The region of Peel is home to many global Indigenous peoples. As Executive Director of the Board, I will facilitate the first agenda item of today's meeting, the election of a board chair for calendar year 2022. Once the chair is elected, I will turn the meeting over to the chair to facilitate the election of a vice chair and to chair the remainder of the meeting. A few housekeeping items before the board moves to elect the chair. We are streaming the public portion of this meeting live on our YouTube channel. If we happen to experience any technical difficulties with the live stream, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and will be posted on YouTube. To those who are in attendance, your microphone has been muted, and I ask that you put up your hand if you'd like to speak, and we will retain a list of speaking requests as we go. Once you are called upon to speak, please unmute yourself and proceed. We ask that you please always keep your microphone muted unless you are speaking. As it relates to voting, please raise your hand to indicate your vote when a vote is called. Should you be disconnected from the video call, please rejoin using the link previously provided. We will now begin with roll call. Seeing all present, are there any declarations of conflict of interest? Seeing none, we will now proceed to the election of the chair for the calendar year 2022. Pursuant to Section 28, subsection 1 of the Police Services Act, the members of a board shall elect the chair at the board's first meeting in each year. I will now open the floor to any nominations. Councillor Medeiros.
Thank you very much. I would like to nominate Ron Chata, notwithstanding his leadership, his passion for the community, his experience on the Police Services Board, especially on community and policing matters, and certainly very proud that he's from the city of Brampton and has a long history of community involvement. So I would like to nominate Ron Chata.
Thank you, Councillor. We have Ron Chata nominated by Councillor Mark Medeiros. Is there a seconder to the nomination? Seconded by Mayor Bonnie Crombie. Ron Chata be nominated for the position of chair. Are there any other nominations at this time? Chair Unica.
Move nominations be closed.
So moved. Seeing no other nominations, Ron Chata will be acclimated as chair of the Peel Police Services Board for the year 2022. Congratulations, Ron. I will turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Rob, for this part, and I want to thank all my wonderful colleagues for putting their trust in me for your chair in 2022. And at the same time, I want to thank the outgoing chair, Ahmed Attia, for his wonderful leadership in 2021. That was a challenging year. And Mr. Attia, you led us, you led the board and the vision very professionally. And thank you for serving us as chair in 2021. We will now continue with the Peel Police Service Board meeting of January 28, 2022. The next item we have is election of the vice chair. Pursuant to Section 28(2) of the Police Service Act, members of the board may also elect a vice chair at the first meeting of each year, and the vice chair shall act as the chair if the chair is absent or if the chair's position is vacant. I will now call for the nomination for the position of vice chair. Mayor Crombie.
I think Ahmed Attia was an outstanding chair, and I'd like to see him continue his role in supporting you, Mr. Chair. So I'd like to nominate Ahmed Attia, please.
Thank you, Mayor Crombie. Do we have seconder? Councillor Medeiros, you'd like to second that?
Yeah, it would be. I would be proud too, and just I agree with all the sentiments. Ahmed has led us through a very difficult time during the pandemic, and certainly transformational change by our new diversity committee and dealing with a host of issues. And I really recognize his passion and how he's been out front on taking his position publicly through different media opinion pieces and so on. So I'm very proud to second his motion.
Thank you. Do we have any other nominations? Anybody else? Regional Chair Anika?
Move nominations be closed.
Okay, so nominations to close. So that means no other nominations. So I would like to congratulate Mr. Ahmed Attia for the acclamation, and he is our Vice Chair for the year of 2022. Congratulations, Mr. Attia. You want to say something?
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations to you. It certainly has been a overwhelming year. We have a very bold strategic plan as a police service, leading the way on issues that ahead of many other police services with the leadership of Chief Nish, and it's been very time consuming, but our board has been pushing along, and I'm very proud of you to take on this leadership and push these priorities forward for the year. So I look forward to serving with you, Ron, and let's continue to make sure we succeed in the strategic plan that we've all committed to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Attia. Okay, so now we are moving on to the procedural item we have. The item number 1 is approval of the minutes of the meeting held on Friday, November 26th, 2021. Well, that was the last meeting, so Happy New Year, everyone. This is the first meeting of 2022. My apologies, I should have said in the beginning. But may I have a mover to approve those minutes in the last meeting of 2021? Councillor Medeiros, seconded by Mr. Attia. All in favor? This is carried. The next item we have is the board member questions or announcements. Do any member have any questions or announcements to make? Mayor Crombie, please.
I just really wanted to thank the chief and the team. There's been some outstanding police work being done. A lot of announcements with respect to seizures of stolen vehicles and guns. And I'm very, very proud of the force, the men and women that represent us here in Peel. And I just want to give a shout out to say that we appreciate the hard work. And to Charles, who is your new, Charles role, communication director of everything, for the improved, enhanced communication to the board and as well to our stakeholder group, including my council members. So a lot of great work being done, and it's been noticed by a lot of people. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Very well said, Mayor Crombie. Chief, you want to comment more than the thanks?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Not to preclude any of the board members from any comments. We appreciate the work by our men and women of the organization. They're working tirelessly on very complex cases. And to that point, Chair, if there's an appropriate time, I do have a couple of verbal updates, and I would like to also invite.
Sorry, Chief, I was going to ask you for your announcements. If you have any announcement, please go ahead.
Thank you. I think maybe it's appropriate just to maybe move into Deputy Milanovic. It aligns very well with what Mayor Crombie had just raised. He has an update on the investigation that was updated yesterday in the media. And then we'll move to Mark for a quick update, and then I'll wrap it up with a small announcement.
Thank you, Chief, and through the chair, I do have an update on the investigation, the Joint Forces operation that was announced yesterday, but just very quickly before I get into that, I'd like to provide some high-level details on 2 investigations that we undertook in January, which I think are relevant. The first was a murder-suicide, which occurred in Brampton. Unfortunately, the investigation has revealed it is the result of intimate partner violence. So, more evidence to continue our collective work in that space and in making a difference. And then the second investigation, again, tragically, a completely random act of violence has resulted in the loss of a 41-year-old Mississauga man from our community. Thankfully, our investigative team was able to close that investigation and locate a 17-year-old who's since been arrested for first-degree murder. And that was done in under 12 hours. So really proud of the team for that. And moving on from those two investigations, with the chair's permission, I'd like to share a short video that describes some of the results of Project High Five. For reference, the selection of the name Project High Five was based out of recognition from our team that there were generally 5 vehicles that were being targeted and represented the top 5 cars that were being stolen here in Peel and across the GTA. It has resulted in one of the most successful stolen auto projects that our police service has seen. In fact, it's one of the most successful projects I think we've seen across the GTA. And again, credit goes to the men and women of Peel, but also all of the partners that participated with us. It was a great multi-jurisdictional investigation. So, Chair, if with your permission, I'll screen share.
Please do.
Project High Five investigation is an incredible example of how our collaborating and working together with multi-jurisdictional agencies can take down a large organized crime ring in the Greater Toronto Area.
High Five was as the result of the top 5 stolen vehicles that were affecting the Greater Toronto Area and the province of Ontario. Investigators came together and collaborated in an effort to try and stop and thwart these vehicle crimes.
The Joint Forces operation broke open one of the most prolific vehicle theft operations in the GTA and recovered more than 200 vehicles with an estimated street value of over $11 million. With a coordinated plan, numerous search warrants were executed and over 300 criminal charges laid.
High Five was a very successful investigation as a result of the partnerships with the collaborating agencies that joined in. And we're still not done with our investigation. We're going to be investigating further in relation to the key suppliers that may result in further arrests and criminal charges down the road.
The reality is, this isn't the end of the investigation, but the beginning of a partnership between us and our community to do everything we can to prevent vehicle theft from continuing to impact our community safety.
And again, I'll take another opportunity just to say thank you to all of our partners, but certainly our community as well, and the leadership from that community. We heard loud and clear that this was something that we needed to be involved in, and so really that was the impetus behind us pulling together this investigation. As we see, it's been incredibly successful. So thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Nick. Absent any questions, I'll hand it over to Deputy Andrews.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. Through the chair, I'd just like to update the board on some work that we've been doing with Accident Support Services to stand up 3 collision reporting centers, 1 at 11 Division, 1 here at headquarters, and a 3rd in Shoppers World in Brampton. The goal of standing up these 3 centers was twofold. The primary goal being improved service to our community, improved customer service, and the second being more efficient use of frontline resources. I'm going to throw out some, bear with me, I'm going to throw out some figures here, then I'll give you some context. The centers were stood up on October the 13th, and through the end of 2021, PRP received approximately 5,577 calls for service involving motor vehicle collisions. Of those, 5,082 calls for service were dealt with by the collision reporting centers. That's approximately 91% of those calls. The remaining 495 MVCs were handled on scene by sworn personnel. I'll loop back to that later. So based on those stats over the last quarter of 2021, we can project out, we estimate that through 2022, we're going to deal with about 25,000 MVC calls for service. And if we continue at the high rate of diversion, we're going to end up with about 23,000 MVCs that will be handled by our collision reporting centers with minimal involvement of frontline personnel. Now, if we're really conservative and we allocate an hour per MVC for call response, investigation, and report writing, which is a very conservative estimate, we'll be pushing 23 hours of, we're getting return on 23,000 hours of frontline officer time, which sort of equates to about 11, just a little over 11 full-time officer frontline constable positions. In addition, what we're seeing is that the wait times at our CRCs is less than 30 minutes, with rare exceptions, and usually below 15 minutes. Previously, members of our community were waiting, and on average, about 90 minutes, depending on the nature of the accident, sometimes more, and again, depending on time of the accident and time of day. Whereas now we're down to a 15-minute wait time. We still investigate accidents that involve potential criminality, including impaired, fail to remain, and with suspect information and dangerous driving. We will continue to investigate accidents where there's significant property damage, i.e. road signs, traffic signals, and dangerous conditions. So while it is a relatively small sample size, we believe that we're well on our way to achieving the goal of better service to our community and more efficient and effective use of frontline officer time. And we expect that 2022 will hit our goals. Now, subject to any questions from the board, back to you, Chief.
Thank you, Deputy. Please go ahead, Chief.
Thank you. And Chair, I didn't know whether you had a question as it pertained to that. If not, I'll just have a small, just an awareness item for the board. Thank you, Mark, for that, and I look forward to seeing, its true impact on a full calendar year this year ahead of us. As a board, just as a point of awareness for the board, the Ministry of Solicitor General has introduced in 2019 a grant funding process called the Community Safety and Policing Grant. And it was intended for boards and police agencies to become more sustainable on a variety of issues for the public, which aligns to two different streams. One are provincial priorities and one is local priorities. Our team that you, for the most part, you're seeing here, and ones that are not on screen, have submitted our grant application to the province of Ontario. We're looking forward to seeing the outcome of it. It is a critical grant for us and allows us to sort of continue the efforts that we've made thus far as it pertains to our community safety and well-being strategy. And for example, one of our local priorities that we're proposing is the establishment of a complex case team here in Peel Region, which would embed crisis workers with our front line to look at the complex issues that our officers face that is beyond mental health and addictions that tend to be a repeated, common client for many of our human services here. Of course, there's a provincial priority stream which aligns to issues like intimate partner violence. And as you know, Nick just mentioned a recent case, and we know that last year's data on intimate partner violence continues to increase here. So just as a matter of keeping the board apprised, we are both, and actually it's the board that's a signatory for the application, a significant one for our service, and we look forward to our ongoing work and partnership with the province. With that, Chair, I'll turn it back to you, and thank you for the opportunity to give you some announcements.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you all the deputies. Now, if no other items, we'll move on to the deputations. So we have one deputation included on our agenda today. The written deputation was received from Mr. Sid Knowles. regarding the Peel Regional Police audit conducted by the Center of Diversity and Inclusion. If there's anyone has any question or comment regarding this deputation, the written deputation has been sent out to everyone and is included in our agenda. And if there's no further comment or any comment, I would like to ask my colleagues if we can have a mover and seconder to move this deputation. May I have a mover? Mr. Howell, do we have a seconder? Seconded by Mayor Crombie. Yep. All in favor? This is carried. The next item we have is item number 3 is presentation. No presentation was received for this meeting. And the following item we have is the body-worn camera status report. Obviously, we will go to Deputy Chief Oduardi for this.
Thank you, and through the chair, thank you to the board members. As indicated back in the November meeting, our frontline deployment of the body-worn camera was completed, in fact. And I just want to share with you a screen just so that I can foreshadow a new method of reporting to the board, which will be a bit more concise as we move into the different phase of the body-worn camera project. I believe you can see the screen there. You will see a project status update. This will, in fact, be an indication of the next phase of the body-worn camera project, where we actually move from the implementation of a body-worn camera into our digital evidence and management system. And I want to thank the board over the last year for supporting the program. We have concluded the first phase of implementation amongst all frontline, front-facing officers in Peel Region, one of the fastest deployments, certainly in the province and the nation. As we move forward, with the body-worn camera deployment, we will now explore how we use body-worn cameras in relation to some of our plainclothes units and discover how we can optimize the body-worn camera. This is in conjunction with some other major technology initiatives that will be concluding in the next month or two as well. And as indicated when we first came to you, as we look to stabilize our technology investments, we have a platform view of technology, integrating all the technologies for the same look and feel. Everything that works together is contingent on all the implementation projects coming together. And we're proud to say, as of December, we have 5 large IT implementations that have concluded, and that we'll be reporting on a monthly basis to the board. With that, that's my update for the body-worn camera project.
Thank you, Deputy Oduardi. Is any board member has any question or comment in regards to this? Vice Chair Atia, please go ahead.
I just want to say, Deputy Chief, well done. I mean, we've effectively rolled this out the whole service, and it's been a lot of work. And so,
Mr. Atia, if you can please speak a bit loud, your voice is not audible properly.
You know what? Don't worry, I think I'm having an internet issue, but that's
Yeah,
fine. I just wanted to I just wanted to congratulate the Deputy Chief. This has been a big project, a lot of work. So thank you for the leadership.
Thank you. Any other comment by any other board members? Seeing none. So may I have a mover to receive this report, please? Moved by Mr. Len Howell. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Mr. Boughton. All in favor? This is carried unanimously. Thank you. Well, that was the short agenda for first meeting. So we will soon move to the in-camera portion. This concludes the public portion of the Peel Police Services Board meeting. Thank you, everyone, and please stay safe. And we will adjourn this meeting, and after 5 minutes, we will move into the in-camera Zoom conferencing. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.